Hey, we're going to try this again and see if we can show you better. I can show you better what I'm talking about. So we've been working on our yellow peony, and we've been doing it on canvas with acrylics. And I realized that my hand was in the way and you couldn't see what I was talking about. I wanted to show you a couple of tools that you can use if you ever need to transfer a design onto a dark color. You can use this white. It is a water-soluble marking pencil. As soon as I get that wet, it'll just disappear. It also comes in blue, and that would be handy if you were using white. And I will show you that it does, in fact, immediately disappear as soon as you get it wet. So since you're using acrylics, those are going to get, you're going to use, they've got some water in them, so that it should disappear. And then there's this, which is actually exclusively made for quilting, but is handy for our purposes. It's an erasable pen that actually disappears within 24 hours. So you have 24 hours to do your design, and then it's going to be gone. It also disappears when you hit it with water. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that is in fact true by hitting that with just a little bit of water and showing you it does disappear. And over here where I touched it, which I didn't do it very dark, but again, it disappears with water. If you used excessive amounts of, obviously it might have a little more trouble disappearing. All right, so we're going to set those aside. That's just a little trick I wanted to share with you. We'll get back to the actual painting here in a minute, but I realized that my hand was in the way and you could not see what I was talking about. So we're going to draw a petal shape, and this is just, in all honesty, what this is a canvas I got at a thrift shop for like $1, and somebody had a botched project they gave up on. Happens to the best of us, but I just put a layer of gesso on it, and then I tested what happens if I do this, and this. What happens with this is an iridescent tinting medium. These are various glosses. Do they dry clear? Do they dry shiny? Do they dry matte? I like to know what I'm doing with my product before I get into the middle of a painting and then realize, oh, that did not do what I hoped it would do. All right, so we're going to side load our brush. One side is going to be white, the other side is going to be our lighter yellow that we're using for our petals for this particular exercise. Work it in a little bit, come in, and I just realized something. Because it's white on the background, you're not really seeing the white. It always will show better if there's a dark color behind it. So we're just gonna quick throw a darker color behind it. Rinse that brush. All right, so I have one side is light colored, one side is our white and one side is our yellow. And we're just gonna come in here and put down our foundation color. The center of our flower petals is darker, so that the outer edges, I will show you on this, the outer edges are lighter, and then I have the darker towards the center of the petals so that you can see the difference. So that's what I'm trying to demonstrate here. then the white might be a bit much for the center, so you can just wipe that on some paper towel. You don't want to use as much water when you're working on canvas. You want to use the flow medium. The water will make it too thin, and it won't work so well on your canvas. Water is fine for thinning acrylics if you're using the acrylics on paper. All right, so this is our darker yellow, and I've already pre-mixed these with a drop or two of the flow medium. I didn't want to bother showing that yet again today. All right, so we're just taking the yellows and blending them into each other. And again, we're using the darker, and you don't have to rinse your brush every time. It's kind of cool to just let some of the color transfer happen without trying to be totally in control. You can always, if you get it too dark, come back in and add in some light. That didn't work so well. I probably should have actually cleaned the brush, but I actually kind of like that. So we're going to leave it behind. If you think that it looks a little too harsh on the outer edge, once you've cleaned your brush of the lighter colors, you can always get a little bit more of your white and yellow. Work it in a little bit, come back. And I'm getting a little tiny bit of the red in there from the background because the background isn't dry. Obviously, it would be better if the background was completely dry. But anyway, you can work it in and play with it until you feel that you like what is happening. And this is one of those things that is totally up to the artist, how much you want to play with it, how much you want to blend it. Do be aware of the fact that, and I'm going to demonstrate this right now, that if you come back into this with a relatively dry brush and you pull it out, you're going to remove more paint than you put instead of putting it on. And that can be a good thing if you had too much of something. And there's always a reason and a way that something could work for various projects. All right, so those are some tips that I hope will be helpful to you. And now we're going to get back to doing our flower painting.